The sun dipped below the jagged skyline of Barcelona, casting a molten glow over the rooftops and washing the narrow alleyways in a hazy orange. In the heart of El Raval, a district alive with rhythm and rebellion, 14-year-old Thiago Soler danced with a football like it was part of him. He played barefoot, his touches impossibly precise, weaving through invisible defenders as if he already heard the roar of 99,000 fans at Camp Nou. Thiago had never set foot inside the stadium. His world was here, in the cramped courtyard behind his grandmother's apartment building, where rusted balconies loomed above like ancient sentinels and the cobblestones were pockmarked from decades of defiant dreams. Here he was king. A boy who moved like wind and thought 3 passes ahead of time. He didn't know where it came from. He only knew it felt right. That night, as he finished his drills and wiped the sweat from his forehead, a stranger stepped out from the shadows. A tall man in a navy blazer with a crest of a red and blue shield on his chest. "Thiago Soler?" the man asked, his voice smooth, foreign. Thiago blinked. "Who's asking?" "My name is Carlos Mendez. I'm a scout for Fútbol Club Catalonia." His heart skipped. Everyone knew FC Catalonia. The colors, the culture, the legacy. A club that molded legends, born in La Masia, forged under the lights of Camp Catalonia. A place where dreams came to live or die. Carlos smiled. "We've been watching you. We want you to come in for trials next week." Thiago's voice faltered. "Is this a joke?" Carlos shook his head. "This is the beginning." La Masia wasn't just a training ground. It was a monastery of football. When Thiago entered its gates for the first time, he felt the weight of ghosts, echoes of boy kings turned champions, dreams crystallized in grass and sweat. It didn't take long for the coaches to notice. Thiago had an intuition that couldn't be taught. In tight spaces, he saw angles others missed. He passed before others even thought to move. There was no doubt, he was different. But brilliance came at a price. The older boys, already eyeing their futures, didn't like him. His touch embarrassed them. His rise was too fast. The whispers began. Street rat. Lucky punk. Coach's pet. Only one boy stood beside him, Mateo Valverde, a lanky, clever midfielder with quick feet and quicker wit. They clicked immediately. Where Thiago created chaos, Mateo brought order. Together, they were unstoppable. Coach Navarro called them the architects. "You too," he said after a friendly match against Valencia's youth team, "could be the next Iniesta and Xavi." They were 15. It was during a closed-door session with the senior team that Thiago first felt it. Something new, something unreal. A move he didn't practice, didn't plan, but instinctively executed. A blind backheel flick through 2 defenders, landing perfectly at the feet of the striker, who buried it past the keeper. Silence. Then applause, from veterans. Even the head coach, Ferran Vidal, raised his eyebrows. "You saw that pass?" he asked Thiago. "I felt it." That was the moment. The moment Thiago knew his gift wasn't just talent. It was vision, true vision. He could feel the rhythm of the game like a composer hears music before the orchestra plays. It wasn't normal. Mateo called it second sight. "You're not just a playmaker," he told him. "You're a prophet." But prophets attract followers and enemies. It started with subtle changes. Mateo began arriving late to sessions, brushing Thiago off with cold smiles. The press, who had once written about the duo, started featuring only Thiago. Whispers began again, this time from Mateo. "I made him look good. He's nothing without me." Thiago didn't want to believe it. But the truth hit harder than a slide tackle. During the biggest youth tournament of the year, El Clásico Juvenil, Thiago was pulled from the starting 11 an hour before kickoff. Suspended for disciplinary reasons. The coaching staff wouldn't say more. Mateo started in his place. Led the team out. Scored twice. And afterward, when Thiago confronted Coach Navarro, the man couldn't meet his eyes. "The club received a complaint about you. Said you've been skipping classes. Showing attitude. Creating division." All eyes. And Thiago knew exactly who'd fed them. Thiago stood outside La Masia that night, staring up at the stone facade that had once felt like a castle, now more like a prison. The doors hadn't been closed, but they didn't need to be. His reputation had taken a hit. Coaches avoided eye contact. Teammates whispered behind his back. And Mateo? He smiled in press conferences like nothing had happened, every word crafted to lift himself and bury Thiago a little deeper. Thiago wasn't officially dropped from the academy, but he was unofficially benched. No matches. Minimal training. No exposure. He was being iced out. Quietly, surgically. His grandmother saw it in his eyes. "You can stay here," she told him softly one morning, pouring café con leche into a chipped mug. No shame in walking away. But something inside Thiago refused. That night, he returned to the courtyard, where it all began. No cameras. No scouts. No tactics. Just the ball, the shadows, and the silence. Until he wasn't alone. A man stepped out from a nearby alley, tall, older, wrapped in a long coat. He had the sharp, patient eyes of someone who'd seen too many prodigies burn out. "I heard they're wasting you," he said. Thiago didn't respond. "I used to coach for the club. Until politics got in the way." Now Thiago turned. "Why are you here?" "To train you. If you want it." The man's name was Joaquín Rivas, a former Catalonia B coach, dismissed after exposing corruption in youth selections. He wasn't bitter, just clear-eyed. He trained Thiago in secret. Not in gyms or facilities, but on rooftops, backstreets, beaches at sunrise. They worked on awareness, decision-making, stamina, and something Rivas called dimensional football, seeing not just the play, but the possible futures unfolding in real time. "You have something rare," Rivas said during one grueling session. "But rare means nothing if you let others write your story." Thiago began filming his sessions, anonymously uploading clips online. The football community took notice. Fans, pundits, even former legends started reposting. "Who is this kid? Better vision than half of La Liga. If FC Catalonia doesn't want him, someone else will." The videos went viral. One day, an offer came from Atlético Titanes, Catalonia's fiercest rivals. A pro contract. First-team chances. A promise to build around him. But it meant walking away from the club he'd loved his whole life. From the dream. From the betrayal. Camp Catalonia roared like a thunderstorm. It had been nearly a year. Thiago now wore red and white, the badge of the Titanes stitched proudly to his chest. The stadium hissed when he touched the ball, but they couldn't ignore what he did with it. Every pass slit through Catalonia's midfield. Every touch drew eyes. Across the pitch, Mateo barked orders in blue and maroon, wearing the captain's armband like a crown. He'd risen fast in Thiago's absence, promoted to the senior team, praised as the new soul of the club. But now he looked up and saw a ghost. In the 67th minute, the moment came. Thiago stole the ball in midfield, slipped past 1, 2, then chipped a pass with impossible curve behind the defense. The Titanes striker smashed it into the top corner. 1-0. He didn't celebrate. He just stood there, calm, cold, eyes locked on Mateo. No words were needed. After the match, Catalonia's president requested a private meeting. He offered apologies, half-truths, and, finally, a return. "You were wronged," he admitted. "We want you back. As the future of this club." Thiago paused, then asked a single question. "Did you know about Mateo's lies?" The silence answered. "Then no," Thiago said. "You had your chance." He rose to leave, but stopped at the door. "One more thing," he added. "Rivas should be coaching again. If you really want to fix this club, start with that." At 17, Thiago became the youngest starting captain in Titanes history. Not because of his age or talent, but because he had walked through fire and returned with purpose. Mateo continued to shine, until the scandal broke. Leaked messages. Conspiracy. The betrayal exposed. The football world reeled. But Thiago didn't gloat. He just played. Season by season, he elevated his team. He won trophies. Built a reputation, not just as a player, but as a leader. A builder. And when asked what drove him, he always said, it wasn't revenge. It was clarity. Epilogue. Legacy. Years later, a young boy juggled a ball in the same courtyard where it all began. His movements were raw, beautiful. From the shadows, a man watched with a familiar smile. Thiago Soler. He stepped forward and asked the boy, "Do you want to learn how to see the game?" The boy nodded eagerly. And so it began again. Thank you for watching. Make sure you like and subscribe. Don't forget to turn on the notification bell for newly created content.